Hello and welcome to the Capital OTB Stakes preview for the weekend of April 7th, 2018. Sully Crotty with Mike Callahan. How are you, Mike?
What's going on, Sully? Another big weekend?
It's a huge weekend all across the country. We have 5 stakes, as we usually do, and hopefully the weather holds out for 2 of them at Keeneland. Starting out at Keeneland, race number 9. It is the Ashland. It's a Grade 1 event, and it is a mile and a 16th on the main track. Race number 10 at Keeneland, it is the Bluegrass, a Grade 2 event going a mile and an eighth on the main track. And then we'll move to New York. Mike and I will be at the track for this day in New York. Race number 8 at Aqueduct, it is the Carter Handicap, a Grade 1 event going 7 furlongs on the main track. Race number 10 is the Wood Memorial. It is the 94th running of the Wood, a Grade 2 event going a mile and an eighth. And we'll finish off in California, race number 9 at Santa Anita, a mile and an eighth. It is the Santa Anita Derby. And it is a Grade 1 event, and that is a very nice 7-horse field.
All right, we'll go back to the Keeneland. Start off with the Keeneland 9th, which is the Ashland, which is a prep for the Kentucky Oaks, as there's points on the line. And there are 2 serious contenders that we'll touch upon here. Start out with number 1, Monomoy Girl, going out for Brad Cox. Florence Rue is going to be aboard, the 4-5 morning line favorite. She has been lights out. A winner of 4 of 5, and her only blemish was a second-place performance, beating a neck 2 back. She was coming off a layoff last time in the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra. I know you and I kind of took a stab against her. We thought maybe off the layoff she may need a race. She broke poorly, kind of got, Florence Rue had to bring her to the back of the pack, which was a different race style for her because normally she's on the lead, but it was no problem for her at all. She kind of engulfed the leader at the far turn and then opened up. She was still a little green down the stretch, but she's the real deal.
Yeah, she is the real deal. If you look at her workouts as well, they really do stand out amongst this field. And as you said, watching the replay of the Rachel Alexandra and not the great start or anything like that, I thought perhaps the horse could be beat again 2 in a row, but that was a nice performance there, and definitely is the horse to beat in this race. And if she runs like she has ran throughout her career, she will win this race and be the favorite for the Oaks.
Number 2 is Eskimo Kisses, going out for Ken McPeak. You're going to get Corey Lanery aboard, the second choice at 2-1, and this horse really woke up. The first 3 were kind of so-so performances, but the last 3 have been lights out. Winner 2 and 3 back, 2 back, won by 11.5, and then we thought she had a real chance in the Fairgrounds Oaks, and she did. Came storming home late, lost that race only by a head to Chocolate Martini. The gallop out was about 5 or 6 clear from the rest of the girls in that field. She's a solid second choice. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to get past Monomoy Girl, but she's a real contender in here.
Yeah, she is a real contender here, and the one thing that would be a little concerning if you like Eskimo Kisses here, if Monomoy Girl slows down the pace, which she has done twice in her career. Eskimo Kisses has never ran into a half mile of 50 or greater, but she does like the closing speed, and she definitely is a contender in here, and if the pace is hot, she might come flying late.
Number 3 is Patrona Margarita, going out for Brett Calhoun. Brian Hernandez Jr. is going to be aboard. 15-1 on the morning line. Was a winner 2 back in the Grade 2 Pocahontas at Churchill Downs. That was back in September of 2017. Was off of a layoff last time out in the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra against Monomoy Girl. Finished an even 4th that day. It was one of those situations where this horse broke bad just like Monomoy Girl did, but really had his chance, and she just was really flat. I think second off the layoff is going to be more fit. She's a player in here for exotics purposes.
Yeah, for exotics purposes, absolutely this horse is, and Calhoun does fantastic at the spring meet at Keeneland, and especially in the stakes race last spring, he did a good job winning a high percentage of his mounts in stakes races. And most of those horses were at these 15-1 prices, so definitely keep an eye out for this horse to fill out some exotics.
Number 4 is CS In Charge, going out for Dale Romans. Louis Size is going to be aboard 10-1 on the morning line. And this horse took 5 starts to break that maiden, but did so 2 back, winning impressively, going wire to wire by 3.5. And then repeated it in a $100,000 stakes down at Tampa, winning that race from just off the pace to get up and win by 3/4 of a length. Is searching for 3 in a row, is really going to get an acid test against 2 really phenomenal fillies, and Monomoy Girl and Eskimo Kisses. But race dynamics are in this horse's favor because there really doesn't seem to be a lot of speed With Monomoy Girl going to go into the lead and kind of CS in charge, a lot of these horses in here like to come from off the pace. If CS in charge is able to get alone on the lead, if Monomoy Girl breaks bad like she did last time, CS in charge could be right on the lead and kind of slowing down the fractions. Interesting horse, has some value.
Yeah, and she's getting Louis Saez aboard. Let's see if he can transfer going up north a bit from South Florida from his phenomenal meet down in South Florida. And Del Roma's had a great meet there as well. This horse, I agree. I think if this horse gets loose on the lead and some other horses don't run their ideal race, this horse could be very surprising on the lead still coming home on the top of the stretch.
Number 5 is Andina Del Sur going out for Tom Albatrani. You're going to get Julian LaPeroux aboard. 6-1 on the morning line, and this is probably the most interesting horse in the field. The first 4 races of the career have been on turf, is switching to the dirt for the first time. But this horse has done nothing wrong on those turf performances. A winner last time in the Grade 3 Florida Oaks at Tampa Bay. Got up to win that race very impressively. The Buyers are just slightly below the top 2 in here. But if she's able to progress forward, I think she's a play in here. The dirt is the unknown. And the race dynamics aren't interfered because she's a stone-cold closer, but nonetheless, she's still a player.
Yeah, this is a really interesting horse, as you said, and I like how LaPeroux's up. He's phenomenal at Keeneland every year, and Albatrani winning last time out, he's over 26, but his greatest stakes numbers, he's winning 19% of those, and switching from dirt to turf, he's winning 7% of those races. So I think this is a very interesting horse. I think you're going to get a good price with all the attention going to the inside post 2 horses. So you're going to get, I think, around the 6-1, if not better, for this horse. I don't think it will be an issue switching from turf to dirt.
Number 6 is in Panama Beach going out for George Arnold. Chris Landeros is going to be aboard 20-1 on the morning line. This horse is going to get first-time blinkers, career starts. Have been 3, still a maiden, has 2 second-place performances, but still hasn't been able to break that maiden, is stepping up against some really nice quality fillies in here. I think is just a touch below. Possibility to fill out the supers in here, but is going to need a fast pace to kind of close in there for 3rd or 4th.
Definitely going to need a fast pace, and everything we're looking at, the race dynamics, there is not too much other speed in this race. So I don't know if the pace is going to be as fast as some of these horses have closed into, which is a big question mark. But I agree, I think just a touch below. Still a maiden in this situation off a huge drop from Churchill to Tampa. Still couldn't get it done. I just think it's definitely just a touch below here.
Number 7 is Typhosha going out for Doug O'Neill. Red Ortiz Jr. is going to be aboard 15-1 on the morning line. This horse has been in the money 5 of 6 times and potentially could be one of those pace horses going to the lead. We'll see if this horse is able to break well on Saturday. But to me, off that last performance and that one other than optional claimer, going a mile and 16th at Oaklawn, showed speed that day, kind of faltered. The distance is a question mark, and also you're going to have 2 really nice horses that could be forwardly placed that could kind of engulf Typhosha down the stretch.
Yeah, the distance is a big question mark here, but we know Red Ortiz, we've seen it all throughout his career. If he's going to wire a horse, it's going to be on one of these type of horses that there's some other quality horses in the race, and he'll be left alone, like we did see a couple weeks ago in South Florida. I agree. I think this horse could get caught by some of the stalking and closing horses as well, but this horse has done nothing wrong. Has been the favorite 5 of 6 starts, and the one time the horse was not the favorite was a 2-1 price. So I think still a touch below here class-wise, but just the way the horse has been working and how the horse has run throughout their career could definitely fill out some supers.
All right, pick time here in the Grade 1 Ashland. Could you look past Monomoy Girl?
I couldn't. I think it's going to be too tough to beat this horse here, and just the way the last time out, that was just an impressive win as a big favorite against a good field and Warner Goodell and company. So I couldn't see past the 1 here. But I did throw Albatrani and LaPeroux in the second spot with the 5 horse. I don't think the turf to dirt is going to be an issue. I think this horse will surprise some people with a jockey that loves the Keeneland surface. And then Eskimo and Kisses in 3rd. My line shot in here is Typhosha for Doug O'Neill and Red Ortiz. This horse might be able to hang on to complete some supers.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I think Monomoy Girl is the real deal. She's done nothing wrong in her 5 career starts. I think she's getting better. She still has room for improvement. You saw that greenness down the stretch. I think she's on a collision course with Coach Rocks, our good friend Roddy Valeni, when they meet in the Kentucky Oaks here in about a month. So we'll see if Monomoy Girl can get the job done underneath Eskimo Kisses. Makes a lot of sense for a 1-2 exact in here. It's going to come back short, but It's one of those exactas you could probably put 20, 30 bucks on. Straight, 1-2 exacta. And then underneath for third, I like number 4, CS In Charge, Roman's trainee. Winner of the last two is stepping up against some really nice fillies in here, but again, race dynamics are in her favor if she's able to get an easy lead. If Monomoy Girl isn't able to break well, she could see herself alone on the lead and slow down some fractions with Lee Saez, who we saw dominate down at Gulfstream. So we'll see if that happens. And then my long shot play anyway will be number 3, Patrona Margarita. Even fourth last time out, I think she goes back and she can run from off the pace in that Grade 2 Pocahontas event where she was able to get up and go clear by 3 3/4. I think she offers some value at 15-1. Very interesting Grade 1 event, the Grade 1 Ashland at Keeneland on Saturday. We'll look now towards the Toyota Bluegrass Grade 2 event, full field of 14, and there's a lot of different angles, a lot of questions going into this race with a lot of different horses in here. We'll start out with number 1, Zing Zang for Steve Asmussen, Sean Bridgman aboard, 30-1 on the morning line. Broke the maiden 4 back, got an 80 buyer, and then has kind of repeated those performances of 4th, 5th, and 6th place performances. Notably finished 5th in the Grade 3 Southwest against My Boy Jack last time out in the Grade 2 Rebel. Came from off the pace to pick off tiring horses and finish 6th, beating 10.5 to Magna Moon and Salamini. To me, is going to need a lot to go right as a stone cold closer. I'm not sure how fast the pace is going to be in here. There's going to be a couple that go out there, but overall, I'm not sure if this horse is going to be able to get in the exotics.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think it's just a touch below this class. I think can run in some stakes races, but from what we saw, the LeCompte, I thought at 24-1, that's the best you're going to see closing-wise from this horse. And then, you could say the horse didn't like the slop in the Southwest, but the Rebel I knew was just a little bit overmatched in that, and it showed. And same thing is the case here in the Bluegrass.
Number 2 is Sporting Chance going out for D. Wayne Lucas. Lee Saez is going to be aboard 10-1 on the morning line. This horse was really good at 2 years old. Was 2 of 3 as a 2-year-old, winning the Grade 1 Hopeful very impressively against the likes of Free Drop Billy. But the 3-year-old campaign has been a little bit less than desirable. Last time finished 5th, beating 5 3/4 in the Grade 2 Rebel. Took a bunch of money that day. To me, needs to wake up. The works have been quite solid. If you look at that March 27th work, 59-1 for 5 furlongs. Maybe this horse will be able to revert back to that 2-year-old form.
I hope the horse does, because the horse did show a lot of promise, and it's a huge purchase tag of $575,000. D. Wayne Lucas, you always have a chance with that horse, with him training a horse, and Louis Saez aboard is what you like to see. But from what we saw at Saratoga from the layoff, I knew it would be a little iffy, but a little bit of a less of a month turnaround in the Rebel, really no improvement. We're going to see the same thing, a little less than a month turnaround again, the run in the Bluegrass, but you are getting good value with a ton of speed here, so it could be interesting if this horse breaks well.
Number 3 is California Night going out for Mike Maker. Tyler Gaffleone's going to be aboard. And 30-1 for this horse. Broke the maiden first time out at Aqueduct very impressively. Went wire to wire, beat a nice horse in Holland Park. Then tried Stakes Company next time out. Finished an even, faded 5th that day. And then in this one other than optional claimer last time out, was able to go back to that wire-to-wire form, win that race at a little bit over 6-1. To me, it's all about pace for this horse. It's going to try to go out and wire him, but there is going to be some company from Quip and also from Flame Away, so I'm not sure how far this horse is going to be able to get away.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think there's too much other speed in this race, and I think there's too much other horses that have the speed. I think they're just better than what this horse has to offer. But you have Gaffleone up, so he's going to be aggressive, and as aggressive as he can with this horse. I just think it's just a little touch below class-wise, but definitely could fit in, I think, in some stakes races like we did see at Aqueduct. That horse I thought fit in there. I just didn't like the slop 2 starts back. I think that is the more level for California Night.
Number 4 is Canthaka going out for Jerry Hollendorfer. Julian LaPerue aboard 10-1 on the morning line. And this is the Wise Guy West Coast shipper that's going to be coming in. Last time out, finished 3rd, beating 6.5 to Mackenzie and Bolt in that epic showdown in the Grade 2 San Felipe. But if you go back to that San Vicente, I know Canthaka got a real fast pace to close into, but this horse was really striding down the stretch, really nice. Won that race by 3 1/4, got a 99 buyer. The only question marks, well, there's 2 question marks that I have. The distance, being out of Jimmy Creed, who was a sprinter type. I'm not sure if a 1 1/8 is going to be able for this horse to close into. That closing kick may actually kind of falter down the stretch, but we'll see. And also the weather. The weather we haven't talked about yet, but the weather down at Keeneland is supposed to be awful.
Right.
And this horse is used to some nice weather out on the West Coast. Is this horse going to be able to handle a little bit of snow, a little bit of cold rain, and some windy days? I'm not sure, but nonetheless, is definite serious closer in here.
Yeah, the closing speed is the one thing I think this horse has going for it. I think can be a big play in here, and you got Julian Leparoux up. I don't think that's a big stretch from not having Flavien Prat up. And as you said, this horse looked phenomenal 2 starts back, and it looked like from that race this horse could stretch out, and it wasn't a great trip 2 back. Last time out, not even, against Bolt and McKenzie, you did all you could do after that bobble start, and not a great start at all. Just kind of held its 3rd place ground there. But you're not running against these. There are some quality horses here, but people argue, and I know you're a big Bolt d'Oro guy, that those were the top 2, and we'll get on Bolt d'Oro later. But I do think that this horse, if it's not a blizzard, can run a big race for West Point and Julian Leparoux and Hollendorfer.
Number 5 is Quip. 6-1 on the morning line. You get Florent Giroux aboard. And this horse was able to upset the field last time in the Grade 2 Tampa Bay Derby, beating the likes of Flame Away and World of Trouble. I know you liked World of Trouble that day.
Yeah.
Almost took him wire to wire. And this horse is quite intriguing. Won the first 2 career starts, including a race over Keeneland, so does have that race over the course scenario going on, and then kind of ran a dud in the Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club at Churchill. Was off of a layoff, and then it was sort of those "what have you done for me lately" deals. Kind of got lost in the shuffle. Was able to revert back to just sitting off of the pace. And if Florent Giroux is able to put this horse right off of the 3 California Night with a couple horses on the outside of him like Flame Away, Quip could be another one that's already liked the track and is a serious player coming in off that really nice performance.
Absolutely, and that was a great performance in the Tampa Bay Derby. And as you said, loves the Keeneland service, actually won the allowance race here, and then at Churchill Downs looks phenomenal. So this horse likes to stay home. A Kentucky-bred Winstar horse. Winstar owns as well. And with the speed this horse has and how this horse raced last time out against Flame Away and World of Trouble, I think can be a very interesting price and a very interesting horse at 6-1.
Number 6 is Marconi going out for Todd Pletcher. Ryan Moore is named, and that's quite interesting. We'll see if Ryan's actually there on Saturday. 15-1 on the morning line. A big $2 million purchase back in September of 2016. I've liked this horse in the last 2 races and really has put in some poor performances. I think this horse has a lot of ability, but just hasn't been able to put it together yet. That's why I think the Coolmore Connections are trying to get Ryan Moore to come over here and see what this horse is able to do. Broke the maiden 3 back impressively at Aqueduct, then finished 3rd 2 back to Avery Island in the Grade 3 Withers. Followed up with a 5th place finish in the Fountain of Youth. And one of those situations where this horse just hasn't been able to put it together yet. The workouts are kind of okay. Where do you see Marconi in the mix?
I think this horse, if it can run like we've seen it run and how it's supposed to run, and as you said, just picking its spots, and it hasn't really worked out yet. I think at 15-1, definitely a horse that you should play underneath, especially with the closing speed this horse has. I mean, Todd's always got a shot when he enters his horses in these types of situations. And as you said, a big $2 million purchase, so they're expecting a lot out of this horse. They're bringing in Ryan Moore, so we'll see how this horse does. This horse has already raced in a blizzard in the Withers, so we'll see if it snows. Maybe that's an advantage for this horse.
Number 7 is Blended Citizen going out for Doug O'Neill. Kyle Frey is going to be aboard. 15-1 on the morning line. West Coast Shipper, another one of these that are coming in off of some races at Santa Anita and Golden Gate. Last time out, actually raced at Turfway over the synthetic at the 1.1 distance. Was able to close and win that race by a neck, beating Arawak. We'll talk about a little bit later on. Got an 83 buyer. Is touch below as far as buyer-wise goes in here, but like the fact that this horse was able to go the 1.1 distance, a couple of these are stretching out for the first time to that 1.1. So that being said, for Blended Citizen, being able to go the distance is a player in here at a nice price.
Yeah, the one thing this horse has is, as you said, a lot of these horses are stretching out for the first time, and a lot of these horses may not be able to handle this distance. Some of these horses are stretching out from sprint races, and some of these horses are stretching out from the mile. That is a big advantage for Blended Citizen and Doug O'Neill and the connections here. I think the closing speed, as you said, we've talked about 3 of the last 4 have a ton of closing speed. This horse is closed against fast paces and moderate slow paces, so we'll see how this horse does. And it really was impressive last time out at Turfway.
Number 8 is Gotta Go, going out for Ian Wilkes. Chris Landauers is going to be aboard. 30-1 on the morning line. Hasn't had much form of recent. Finished second, beaten 2 3/4 to Strike Power back in the Grade 3 Swale last time out. Followed it up with a 6th place performance, beating 9 lengths in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth. The last time this horse ran and won a race was on October of 2017, winning the Street Sense, and did beat a couple nice horses. Lone Sailor, we saw come back and have the runner-up finish in Louisiana Derby, and then also Bravazzo, who we saw win down at Fairgrounds as well. To me, I got mixed signals on this horse. It was one of those situations where it could easily get into the exotics on the best day at a really nice price of 30-1.
And Ian Wilkes he does very well at Keeneland, and he's sneaky good with these closing horses on the main track. To me, this horse, I think, just wants to close in a sprinting race. We did see the horse stretch out from 6 furlongs and then win that Street Sense and stretch out to a Grade 2. Really didn't do any running at all. Looked great, had a great stalking role, and watching that race, I thought this horse would steal the race at a nice price again, and then finish 13th, a distance 13th, and then we saw the same thing in the Fountain of Youth. The race really did get slowed down. The Rider Tees did a great job with Promises Fulfilled, a 23 to a 48, really slowed down the pace there. Tough to close into that, but I think you're going to get a balanced pace. So we'll see how this horse does, and Ian Wilkes does a great job in stakes races at Keeneland.
Number 9 is Tiz Mischief, going out for Dale Romans. 30-1 on the morning line. You're going to get Corey Lannery aboard. The last couple races haven't been very good. 5th place performance last time out in the Grade 2 Tampa Bay behind Quip, the winner, and Flame Away and World of Trouble. Again, it was one of those situations where the horse was far behind, ended up losing by 11.5. The 2-back race ended up finishing 3rd behind Audible and Free Drop Billy, a distant 3rd in the Grade 2 Holy Bull, where they were all sort of extended. Really has to get back to that form back in fall of 2017 when the horse was able to win that maiden special weight very impressively and also finish second, beaten ahead to Enticed, who's going to be one of the favorites in the Wood Memorial.
Yeah, and that's those 2 races, October 7th and November 25th. Those are the 2 races I think that if you like this horse, that's what you need to look on. Audible, that was an okay performance. Audible's just on a different level right now. And Enticed is going to be a tough beat in the Wood. This horse beat a horse named Slot, who had a great championship meet down in South Florida, entered a stakes race, and I believe won that stakes race. So this horse beat that horse with a nice closing effort. This horse did run at a mile and a 16 4 times in a row, which I think helps, but I think just a touch below the rest of this group.
Number 10 is Free Drop Billy, going out for Dale Romans. Dale Romans, another trainee in here, as he has multiple horses running in the Grade 2 Toyota Bluegrass. This horse is 5-1 on the morning line. Rider Tees Jr. is going to be aboard. Finished 3rd last time in that one-turn Grade 3 Gotham event against Enticed, who looked unbelievable that day. Was a little bit of a flat performance. If you go back to that 2-back race, though, in the Holy Bull, did finish second, beaten 5.5, but was also much clear of Tiz Mischief, 7 3/4 lengths clear of Tiz Mischief and the rest of them. I thought there was a real solid performance. That's why you see the 90 buyer. If Free Drop Billy's able to go back to any of those races where he was really able to put it all together, I think he's a player in here at 5-1.
Definitely a player at 5-1 with the Rider Tees up. There's a reason the Rider Tees is not riding Quip. There's a reason the Rider Tees is not riding I forget what horse it is earlier in the card on this race, but he wants to ride Free Drop Billy for the first time. This horse looked great at Saratoga. I remember I had the horse in the Hopeful. We were getting great value there, running against Sporting Chance. So that was just nice to see. But ever since then, a 9th in the Breeders' Cup, you can give a pass to. But in the Holy Bull against Audible, I thought the horse ran great. And then last time out, Enticed just was the best horse that day. So definitely intriguing at 5-1.
And number 11 is the morning line favorite, Good Magic, 2-1 on the morning line. Jose Ortiz is going to be aboard. Chad Brown Cheney, $1 million purchase back in September of 2016. Your defending Breeders' Cup juvenile champion. Did beat Salamini and Bolt de Oro out in Delmore when you were out there that day. Sully was off of a little bit of a layoff, took a whole bunch of money in the Grade 2 Fountain of Youth against Promises Fulfilled and Strike Power, and finished third, a really flat third. Everybody was kind of trying to figure out what was wrong with Good Magic that day. May have just needed the race to work on March 31st. Is really solid. Nice bullet of first of 54. Again, may have just needed that race. Coming into it really well. It's one of those situations where is he going to be forwardly placed with a couple of these in here, and is he going to have that really nice punching kick, which he showed in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile?
I think he's going to have the punch and kick, and that's tough to do. You haven't ran since November, and that was a very big race, as we all know. And then you come back in March, in a nice Grade 2 Fountain of Youth. So, again, I think just needed that race under its belt for the connections. And Chad Brown, I think, is going to come ready to play and ready to run after much shorter of a layoff.
Number 12 is Flame Away going off for Mark Casse. Jose Lezcano is going to be aboard 6-1 on the morning line, and I think that offers great value. This horse, to me, is one of my favorite horses that's going to be running on the trail to the Kentucky Derby, because this horse has just done it all. Has won on the dirt, the turf, the synthetic. Is 2 for 2 on a wet surface. He's just a grinder. Mark Casse has gone on record to say he just doesn't like when horses go past him, and that's a good thing to have in a situation like this. Last time out, did finish second, beating a length to Quip. Was kind of bumped at the start, was steadied a little bit down the stretch, and then kind of re-kicked and was able to pass World of Trouble, wasn't able to get to Quip. The wire came, but I like Flame Away in this spot. If you go back to those 2 and 3 back races, was able to fight off Catholic Boy. I know a horse that you're high on. Had a little bit of a bleeding issue last weekend, but nonetheless, Catholic Boy was a serious player in this division, and I think Flame Away is going to get a nice outside stalking trip under Jose Lezcano, and is a big play at 6-1.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a very sneaky price at 6-1, with all the attention possibly going to Free Drop Bailey, Good Magic, Quip. This horse might sneak away in the odds board. So this horse wants to get to the lead, and as you said, does not like when other horses pass. I think the outside stall is going to be very beneficial. You can get rid of the Breeders' Cup on the grass, but this horse ran it on the wet surface. If it snows, there you go. Wet surface at Keeneland in a Grade 3 event from the outside stall and won that race. So that's just something this horse can lean on. And as you said, loves a wet surface and 1-for-1 at Keeneland.
Number 13 is Machismo. 20-1 on the morning line. And this is another one of those wise guy horses. Broke the maiden super impressively down at Gulfstream Park 2 races back. Went almost wire to wire, winning that by 11.5 lengths. Got an 85 buyer. Then tried 2 turns for the first time last time out in that Grade 2 Fountain of Youth. Finished an even 4th that day against Promises Fulfilled and Strike Power, and also Good Magic, who's in this spot. So I didn't think that was a bad performance. To me, it's just, how do you rate that Grade 2 Fountain of Youth? With Promises Fulfilled and Strike Power and what they did last weekend, you really don't know how good they were, because they dueled themselves into defeat so early, going really, really quick fractions in that race. I like the value of 20-1, but I'm not sure where this horse fits in the mix, and that's the real question.
Yeah, I mean, you're going out for a jockey that's over 22 in 2018, and this horse had a huge step up last time out, running in a maiden special weight, up to a Grade 2 Fountain of Youth against a Breeders' Cup winner, stretching out for the first time. And as you said, that 4th place finish, that was impressive. I thought that was the best the horse could do. Maybe another race stretching out will benefit this horse. But again, I think this horse is just going to play a little catch me if you can. Tried to do it last time out, did not really have the best of starts, was wide throughout the whole race. But if this horse gets a break in place, a catch me if you can, it goes back to how this horse sprinted. Let's see if any other horses run with it.
Number 14 is Arawak going out for Doug O'Neill. Fernando de la Cruz is going to be aboard, 30-1 on the morning line. Blinkers are going to go on for this horse. And this horse has been well-traveled. Broke the maiden first time out at Belmont, then went over to Royal Ascot to race in a sprinting stakes race over there, and then has faced the likes of Snapper St. Clair, also Flame Away and Reride, and has done okay in those performances. Really, the last out performance was the best of the career. Finished 3rd, being a 1.25 to Blended Citizen, who does have an outside chance in here, but to me is going to need a ton of pace to kind of even get just even a small piece in this spot.
Yeah, I like how they're throwing the blinkers on too. Doug O'Neill's winning 16% of those first-time blinkers, 10% of his graded stakes. But again, if you like Blended Citizen at all, you have to pick one of the two. You have to pick this horse or Blended Citizen, and just looking at past performances and what we're seeing from the works and the body of work overall, I would side with Blended Citizen over the two. But let's see how this horse wants to run. Let's see if this horse gets out to a lead and also plays a little catch me if you can.
All right, this is a very deep field, a lot of question marks, and a lot of horses you want to use, but you got to throw them out because you got to make a stand. Who'd you make a stand with here in the Bluegrass?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't snow, and if it doesn't snow, I think Kantaka is going to be a very sneaky horse here for West Point, Highlandorfer, and Leparoux. If this horse gets to a stalking roll, I think this is going to be in a fantastic situation here. Hopefully we'll run against Quick Fractions like it did last time out, but those Quick Fractions were against McKinsey and Bull. So if this horse has a stalking roll against Quick Fractions of one of these long shots like California Night or Machismo, this horse is sitting a length and a half off, can be very dangerous here at 10-1. And then I had Good Magic and Flame Away in the spots underneath. I think Flame Away, as you said, very sneaky at 6-1 with Jose Lascano aboard. I also have Quip to fill out some superfectas. My line shot in here is Sporting Chance with Louis Saez, Dean Wayne Lucas. A big purchase on this horse. They're expecting a lot. Not the best of trips the last two starts, but now you get Louis Saez back aboard after winning twice with this horse.
Yeah, I'm going to put Flame Away on top. I know you have him in the mix as well. He's just so gritty. Has done everything right. Last time out, did finish second, beating a length, but was closing in on Quip. Back-to-back wins, 2 and 3 back. Has won in every situation on dirt, on turf, on synthetic, 2 for 2 on the white, and also has a win over Keeneland. So really just the education and the mentality of this horse, just so gritty, not letting horses get past him. I really like that, and you're going to offer some very good value at 6-1 underneath. Number 11, Good Magic. To me, makes a lot of sense in here to get the job done, but the price is just going to be too short. I think a lot of people are going to try to play against him strictly on the price, not that the horse isn't good enough to win in this spot. And then underneath, number 5, Quip. I think it's going to, validate that performance last time out, upsetting at 19-1 in the Grade 2 Tampa Bay Derby. I think this horse is the real deal. Also has a win at the Keeneland Surface. To me, has that experience factor over the racetrack. Always helps in these situations. So we'll use him in the 3rd spot. And then my long shot's going to be number 6, Marconi. We'll see if Ryan Moore comes into town. If he does, even better. Todd Pletcher trainee, $2 million purchase. Hasn't been able to put it together in the last 2. He's able to go back to that mean and special weight win at Aqueduct. I think this horse could definitely get in the mix at a very nice price, 15-1 on the morning line. All right, that's going to lead us to our first break. When we come back, we'll take a look at all the action at Aqueduct.
Sign up today for Capital OTB's handicapping series and plan your trip to Las Vegas.
Welcome back to the Capital OTB Stakes preview. As we're through 2 of the 5 races we'll talk about this week. Just took a look at the Keeneland action. Hopefully the weather holds off down there. They're expecting some interesting weather, unlike their normal, opening weekends where they're probably used to 50s and sunny, maybe a little bit of clouds. They're expecting a little bit of snow, a little bit of wet rain. We'll see if they're able to get through the cards with fairly good track conditions down there as well. But we'll switch to Aqueduct, and we're very excited to talk about this because we'll be down there.
Yeah, and looking forward to it.
Very exciting. We'll be giving you all the analysis through Capital OTB TV, and you can also download the app because we'll be playing on there as well. We'll pretty much just be doing OTB live on the road, so our normal afternoon programming will just be down there. We'll be in a nice office looking over the track and have our podcast equipment in there trying to give you some different angles, and we'll have all the coverage there this Saturday coming up. So tune in to Capital OTB TV, but we'll take a look right now at the Grade 1 Carter, race number 8 on Saturday. Very interesting field in here, a field of 11 runners. We'll start out with number 1, Spartiatus, going out for Rudy Rodriguez. Robbie Alvarado is going to be aboard. 30-1 on the morning line. This horse has not won since March of 2017. That was in the Grade 3 Tom Fool. Did get the job done from off the pace. The most recent race that was good for this horse was 2 back and that 2 other than optional claimer. That was going 6.5. Was able to come from just off of it to finish second, beaten ahead to a nice horse in Westwood. Last time out was a little bit of a dud performance in that Grade 3 Town Fool against Skylar Scramjet, Doucher, and Great Stuff, who are all in this spot. To me, it's just going to need a lot of pace just to even hit the board.
Yeah, definitely going to need a lot of pace for this horse to come in for Rudy Rodriguez, who did just win over 1,000 races, so congratulations to him and his whole team. But I agree. I think it's just a touch below here. This horse is just going to try to run out to the lead, and there is a lot of speed in this race because it is a sprint race. I just think there's a little bit better in this race than the number 1 and the Rudy Rodriguez team.
The number 2 is Army Mule, who's going to be the 5-2 morning line favorite, going out for Todd Pletcher. Joe Bravo is going to be aboard, a big $825,000 purchase back in May of 2016. This horse, 2-for-2 lifetime, broke the maiden. First time out back in April of 2017, won that super impressively by 8.5. Then wasn't seen until January, which was off of a long layoff. Nothing was wrong in that situation. Came back off that layoff just as razor sharp. Won that race going clear by 7.5. Got a 102 buyer. Now steps up off of that one other than optional claimer up into Grade 1 company against some serious racehorses. Do you think this horse is going to be able to do the same type of running against this quality?
That's the big question mark. And at 5-2, just a little too short for me to play on top in this situation. But really impressive breaking the maiden and then went to an optional claimer, taking some time off. I thought that was a little bit low of a jump from the maiden special weight to that optional claimer if you like off stream. But, now it's a really, really massive jump from that level up to this level of Grade 1. But we'll see how this horse does. As you said, $825,000 purchase tag. A lot of speed for this horse, and this horse coming out of a Pennsylvania barn. We'll see how this horse does. First start here in New York.
Number 3 is favorable outcome going out for Chad Brown. Kendrick Carmouche is going to be aboard 8-1 on the morning line. This horse won 3 back very impressively at Aqueduct, so does have a win over the surface. Got a 104 buyer that day. That was a 2 other than optional claimer. Then tried Grade 1 company in the Grade 1 Malibu, 2 starts back. Finished third to 2 very nice horses that we've talked about on the stakes preview. The City of Light and Edwards going left. Really was a good third. Got a 96 buyer. And then last time out was a little bit of a poor performance. Finished 6th, beaten 7. Was odds on that day, but did have a bobbled start and was kind of struggling to find room in there. I think is going to be able to improve off that last effort. But where do you kind of see this horse in there? Is it enough to improve to win, or is it improve to get in the exotics?
I think it's an improve to get into the exotics here for the very notable connections here. The one race I do like from this horse was the quarter-length loss to Beasley in Harlan Punch. That was earlier in September at Belmont. Beasley has raced in multiple stakes races and has been competitive in some of those Harlan Punch. Same type of situation. This horse is racing against Oscar Performance, Lancaster Bomber, Practical Joke, and has raced big against Practical Joke, lost to Syndergaard. So this horse is racing against some solid horses. I just think from this spot, going to be a little bit tough to win, but I might be kicking myself not playing this horse on top.
Number 4 is Doucher going out for Linda Rice. Junior Alvarado is going to be aboard 5-1 on the morning line. This horse was able to storm home last race in the Grade 3 Town Fool. Was 11 lengths back. Came to lose, only beaten a length and a half. A nice solid second place performance against Skylar Scramjet, who took him almost wire to wire that day. Got a 99 buyer, and this horse has been razor sharp. 2 and 3 back were victories. Again, we just talked about that second place performance. The horse has 3 wins and 5 lifetime starts at Aqueduct, and the lone 2 blemishes were second and third place performances. The workouts have been really good. There's a lot to like with number 4 Doucher.
Definitely a lot to like, and you get Linda Rice as well, who's just on a different level at Aqueduct year in and year out. And as you said, the 3 lifetime wins at Aqueduct I think will help. One question mark is can this horse sprint at this distance? That is the one question mark we have at the 7 furlongs. I think this horse just wants to go 6 furlongs. Looked okay in an optional claimer at Belmont running the 7 furlongs. But 1 for 5 lifetime at the distance. But I agree. I think it's a very dangerous play at 5-1.
Number 5 is Great Stuff going out for David Jacobson. Dylan Davis is going to be aboard 8-1 on the morning line. This horse finished third, beaten 4.5 to Skylar Scramjet, who we'll talk about a little bit later on, and also Doucher, who we just touched upon. But if you go back to that Grade 3 event, the Toboggan, 2 starts back, was able to storm home, go clear, win that race by 2.5, beating some nice horses in Takafel and Vulcan's Forge. you can run back to that 100-plus buyer. This horse is definitely in the mix at a really nice price.
You're getting a great price here, and I love these Jacobson horses. They're always competitive, especially in New York. And this horse seems to like the surface, has been working okay as well. And as you said, the toboggan, if it runs anything like it did with that 102 buyer, it's going to win at a very nice price with Dylan Davis aboard, who's just been riding at a different level now at Aqueduct.
Number 6 is Petrov, going off for Ron Mocat. Manny Franco is going to be aboard 20-1 on the morning line. And one last time out off the layoff at Oaklawn over a muddy surface. Almost took him wire to wire, got an 89 buyer. Just a touch below the tops in here. Does have some really nice races, including a nice third to Cole Front and American Pastime, who've gone on to be very nice sprinters back in September of 2017 in that Grade 3 event at Parks. I think this horse kind of wakes up on occasion. I'm not sure if this horse is going to be able to validate that performance. Last time in that optional claimer is really getting a serious test.
Yeah, and stepping up, as you said, it's really getting a serious test. Has raced in some graded events. The Arkansas Derby really didn't do anything. The Rebel was probably the best performances horse has done, besides the Grade 3 at Parks that this horse ran fourth with Jose Ortiz on. Lost on Trap and Malagasy. That was a nice field there. But this horse seems like it's in a great position every race, but just does nothing with it. Just does not get by any horses from a stalking roll. That's the one concerning thing for Petrov.
Number 7 is Red Dragon Tattoo, 30-1 on the morning line. You're going to get Paco and Speed. We always talk about it. So if you're a long shot player in here and you like the angle of Paco and Speed, this is definitely the horse for you. One last time going wire to wire in that allowance race at Parks over a good condition. Got a 94 buyer. To me, it's just going to be wing it and see if we can we're able to hold on. What are your thoughts with the number 7?
I agree. It's going to play a little catch me if you can from the sprint distance. And this horse tried to play a little catch me if you can at the mile distance, didn't really work out there, and then went back to the sprinting distance and did quite well, I thought. And the works have been okay. Winning last time out, Connections are winning 24% of those starts. Also, with a little bit of a layoff, winning 25% of those starts. So Paco and Speed, if that's your play, you're getting a great price.
Number 8 is Green Grotto at 30-1 for Gaston Grant. Chris DiCarlo is going to be aboard. Another one with the speed, so that's the possible scenario. You just see Red Dragon Tattoo go for it, and Green Grotto, who's always time and time again going for the lead and kind of getting tired. The 7 furlongs is even more of a concern with Green Grotto. The fact that there's going to be some pace in here is really unlikely for this horse to hit in the money.
Yeah, it is. And, ever since the win last April in the Carter, defending champion here, that might be one thing. We saw a couple defending champions last weekend with Mind Your Biscuits being one of them. So maybe this horse just likes this race, likes this field at Aqueduct. Gaston Grant, he doesn't get a lot of starts, but he's winning 18% with an ROI over 10 in his graded stakes. So really cool story with the Grants, and I know he owns with a family member as well. But again, ever since that win last year in the Carter, horse really has not done anything and has been in some big time races. So again, I just think it's going to get a little tired again in this situation with the amount of speed.
And number 9 is Skylar Scramjet, the solid second choice at 3-1 for Michelle Nevin. Trevor McCarthy is going to be aboard, a winner of 3 in a row, including 2 of those 3 being 100-plus buyers. Last time out did get 103 in that Grade 3 Town Fool. Was able to sit just off the pace, go clear, and win that race by a length and a half to Dushare and Great Stuff, who are solid contenders in here. The horse is 4 for 5 as far as wins go at Aqueduct and 5 for 10 lifetime. To me, is one of those situations where either you're like Skylar Scramjet on top or you don't have him in the mix at all because he's 5 for 10 lifetime with no seconds or thirds. So if you think he's going to get that stocking kick and able to get the job done again, that's the situation where you like him on top. But if not, he's not a horse that finishes second or third. He's just completely out of it.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And if this horse doesn't win, what are you going to do with this horse? But just from what we saw last time out, this horse can repeat that race, winning 3 in a row, 4 of the last 5. This horse is going to be a better price at 3-1, I would imagine, from Michelle Nevin. So, horse likes the Aqueduct surface, as you said. Let's see if this horse can stretch out one more furlong.
Number 10 is Fellowship, going off for Ken Deckert. Jeremy Rose is going to be aboard at 20-1 on the morning line. This horse finished 5th last time, a distant 5th to Harlan Punch at Aqueduct. Go back to that Grade 3 General George. Was able to come from the clouds that day to finish second, beating the neck to something awesome. Got a 97 buyer that day, which is tops among this horse. And I think is a possibility to maybe fill out the supers, but it's going to need a quick pace to do so.
Definitely going to need a quick pace here. And if it runs a 97 buyer, again, nice closing effort there. And I usually love these closing horses in these sprint races, but I think there is some other closing horses in this race, with Duchère and Great Stuff being two of them. I think they're just a little bit better in this situation, but if it runs that 97 buyer again, anything's possible at a huge price.
Number 11 is Awesome Slew going out for Mark Cassidy. Johnny V is going to be aboard 4-1 on the morning line, and to me, this horse has an experience edge. Last time raced in that Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile against Battle of Midway and Sharp Azteca. This horse really didn't do much wrong. Finished third, beaten 4 3/4. Got a 100-plus buyer. Has 300-plus buyers as far as the career goes, which be tops among anyone in here. The problem is the horse hasn't been seen since November 3rd, 2017. Is coming off of a long layoff. The workouts have been pretty sharp, though, especially that March 17 work, which was first of 29. This horse is going to need some speed as a stone cold closer, but is a serious player at a nice price.
Yeah, you're getting a great price for this horse. I doubt you're going to get this 4-1 price in this field. But again, I think this is a serious play here for Awesome Slew. Ran huge against Battle Midway. And making the first start in New York is not always easy, but seemed to like the other NYRA tracks, including at Belmont. Ran a second in the Belmont Sprint, and then at Saratoga and Green, one event before ago, ran second as well. So this horse seems to do okay. Another NYRA tracks from the outside post, I think, will help this horse, wanting nothing to do with the pace.
Yeah, he's the most notable name in here. I mean, just look at his pattern. The losses have been to Sharp Azteca, Limousine Liberal, More Spirit, Mind Your Biscuit, Stray Fong. Those names are all huge. So we'll see if he's able to come from off the layoff and get the job done here in the Grade 1 Carter. Very interesting race. What are your selections?
Awesome Slew on top, as you said, and the Limousine Liberal race, that was just an impressive win. Second place finish coming up the rail there at a 2-1 price. So I have this horse on top. I really hope this horse stays at 4-1. And then in the second spot, I have Duchère, another closing horse here for Junior Alvarado and Linda Rice. And then in the third spot, I went with Army Mule. Long shot, I think you're going to get a good price with Great Stuff, Jacobson, and Dylan Davis to 5.
Yeah, I'm putting Duchère on top. I like him at 5-1. I think last time was able to storm home. Just ran out of room going 6 furlongs. I know the question mark that you brought up was the fact that this horse be able to translate that 6 furlongs to 7 with that closing kick. I think so. You go back to that 2 other than an optional claimer back in June of 2017 at Belmont. Was able to win it 7 furlongs. Got a really solid 94 buyer. The horse likes Aqueduct, 3 for 5 at Aqueduct so far. I'll put him on top. Underneath, number 11, Awesome Slew. The most notable name I think is going to take a lot of money in here. But nonetheless, off the performances that this horse has run and being able to run fresh off that layoff, we'll see if the 11 can make some noise in here. And also number 3, Favorable Outcome. I like a lot of closures in here. I think the pace is going to be fast. I think Red Dragon Tattoo, Green Grotto, Skylar Scramjet, and Army Mule may get into little bit of a tussle at the beginning of the race. So I'll see if the Duchère and then Awesome Slew and then Favorable Outcome can kind of sit off the pace and get the job done. Underneath, another closer in this spot. Great Stuff, who you have as your long shot play in here. I like him as a long shot play as well, especially if you can run back to that Grade 3 toboggan. So we'll see what happens at Aqueduct on the Grade 1 Carter. We'll switch now to the Wood Memorial Grade 2 event. Very solid field of 9 runners going. We'll start out in numerical order like we always do with number 1, Heart Full of Stars, a West Coast shipper running the last 2 at Santa Anita. Did break the maiden last time out at Santa Anita over a sloppy surface going the mile distance. Pretty much took a wire to wire that day, got a 79 buyer. This horse is going to stretch out to a 1 1/8, which is a little bit of a question mark, but an interesting trip from Phil D'Amato, and attracting Dylan Davis makes this horse very intriguing at 21.
Definitely intriguing when you attract Dylan Davis, and so this horse is probably going to get to the lead. There's other horses that are going to try to get to the lead as well. There's Old Time Revel being one of them. Revival, being one of them. So we'll see who gets to the lead. If this horse gets to the lead with Dylan Davis as well, it's going to be very interesting at 20-1 in the Wood.
Number 2 is Firenze Fire going out for Jason Service. Manny Franco's going to be aboard at 6-1 on the morning line. This horse has been disappointing in the last 2, especially off the 3-back race in the Jerome. I thought the horse was terrific in the Jerome back in January of 2018. won that mile race, coming from far back, beating a nice horse in 7 Trumpets and also Cold Mississippi. The last 2 have been okay. If you look at that 2-back race against Avery Island, finished second, beaten 2, did meet Marconi, who I like as a long shot playing the Bluegrass and talked about a little bit earlier. But last time out was a little bit of a question mark. It was a 1-turn mile, so maybe this horse will relish 2 turns more than going that 1-turn mile. Did finish 4th, beat 9 1/4 against Entice and Old Time Revival. Where do you see Firenze Fire in this mix?
I think he'll be right in the mix. You know, I did like the horse after the Jerome. That was really impressive. Had the same kind of trip in the Withers, and then the Gotham was just overmatched by Entice. It was just on a different level. I think you get 6-1. It's definitely a play underneath, and definitely just a really balanced horse. So I do think at 6-1 you're going to get around that price. Definitely interesting play underneath.
Number 3 is Evaluator going out for Michael Dilger. Kendrick Carmouche is going to be aboard, 20-1 on the morning line. Blinkers go on for this horse, and I like him. I actually got a chance to see him break the maiden first time out. That was on turf, and that maiden special weight up at Saratoga. Was completely out of it. Made this enormous run to go clear and win very impressively by 4 lengths, and then faced Graded Stakes Company, albeit on turf. Then Michael Dilger decided to put this horse on dirt, and has been beating some state breds very impressively. Was an upset winner in the Sleepy Hollow back in October of 2017, and then validated that performance last time out, going the mile distance at Aqueduct against a nice horse in Empire Line. Just lost the photo that day, but on the gallop out was 3 or 4 lengths clear of Empire Line. So I think this horse will like the 1.125 distance, is going to need some speed to close into, another stone cold closer in this spot. But again, very intriguing. You get Kendrick Carmouche aboard.
Yeah, this horse is going to get some closing speed, and as you said, in Saratoga, just looked absolutely phenomenal. Was the favorite in the Grade 3 after breaking that maiden and a state bred in a state bred maiden winning that at Saratoga, as you said, really impressively. And Michael Dilger, he does a great job, and on the back stretch of Saratoga, he probably has the best setup. If you haven't been back there, definitely try to look at it. He has a phenomenal setup back there. But as you said, the Sleepy Hollow, if that horse runs like it did anything like that, and the stretch out is just going to help this horse. Again, I agree. 20-1, very interesting price.
Number 4 is Old Time Revival going out for Ken Decker. 6-1 on the morning line. Jeremy Rose is going to be aboard. Off those back-to-back second place performances, both of those starts were at 35 to plus, 35 to 1 plus odds in both those starts. So this horse was able to validate that second place performance last time out in the Grade 3 Gotham. Almost took him wire to wire, ended up losing to Entice, but was well clear of Free Drop Billy, who's going to be one of the contenders in the Bluegrass. So I like this horse as far as a solid speed play. The problem is there looks to be a couple other speeds in here, including Restoring Hope, a West Coast shipper that we haven't touched upon yet, and also the other West Coast shipper we did touch upon, Heart Full of Stars. So we'll see if this horse is able to get as clear as a lead as he's been able to in the last couple.
Yeah, that's the one question mark. I don't think we'll get that lead with a lot of horses that want to get to the lead, or several of these horses want to get to the lead here. At 6-1, going from 35 and 34 to 1. Really nice performances as well, don't get me wrong, but I just think at 6-1, just too short of a value, especially with the amount of speed in this race.
Number 5 is the morning line favorite at 6-5. That's Entice, going out for Kieran McLaughlin. Godolphin Racing owned, and Junior Alvarado is going to be aboard. Winner last time of the Grade 3 Gotham. Very impressive. This horse, I wasn't a fan of him going into the Gotham because I wasn't a fan of that performance in the Grade 2 Holy Bull, but this horse is 3 for 5 lifetime off that last out win, coming from off the pace, getting that 95 buyer, and really not being asked much by Junior Alvarado. I thought that was a really sneaky good performance. He's going to use that outside closing kick again in this spot with a couple speeds in here, and to deserve it 6-5 morning line favorite.
Yeah, this horse likes to run in the Naira circuit. Junior Alvarado does a great job. Every win this horse has had was with Junior Alvarado, so that's one thing to look forward to. And this horse, is this horse with the amount of speed going to run like it did in the Gotham? A nice closing effort, stalking roll. Probably the right move with the amount of speed here, but definitely deserving 6-5 favorite. Has been running extremely well throughout the career, and I thought ran okay against Audible. And obviously ran huge against His Mischief and beat Promises Fulfilled. So this horse, I think it's a very serious, interesting player. It's and I don't think you're going to get 6 to 5. I think you're going to get around the even money mark, if not a little bit below even money.
I mean, the question marks are he did get a fast pace to close into. They went 23 and 46 and 2 to the half last time, and it was a 1-turn mile. This horse has to be able to do it at 2 turns. Did do it in Churchill Downs back in November of 2017, but really needs to validate himself as a serious contender and a horse that kind of wins and then bounces and wins and then bounces as far as the pattern of progression of this horse. So he needs to put a couple races back to back. We'll see if he's able to do it in the Grade 2 Wood. On to number 6, Catch 22, 50-1 on the morning line. This horse was able to break the maiden first time out in a maiden claiming 50 event, then stepped up Allowance Company and ended up clipping heels and not finishing the race. Now blinkers go on, and they step this horse up into the Grade 2 event. To me, there's just so much of a progression this horse needs to make just to even get around the third or fourth spot.
Yeah, this horse, I forget the horse's name, reminds me of the horse that entered against Gunrunner this summer, and it's going to be a little bit of a rabbit, I think. Just try to, if it can play a little Catch Me McKenna, if no one comes, that's exactly what it's going to do, but definitely needs everything to go right. Stretching out for the first time, it's just a lot to ask for this horse and these connections, but going to get to the lead. It's going to try its hardest to get to the lead, and there's a lot of other speed in this race, so let's see how this horse does, and let's see if this is a key horse that makes other horses uncomfortable.
Number 7 is King Zachary going off for Dale Romans. Robbie Alvarado's going to be aboard 20-1 on the morning line, a big $550,000 purchase back in September of 2016. This horse wasn't able to break the maiden in the first 2 starts, but did face a couple nice ones in Penalty and Principe Guilherme. Was able to break the maiden last time out at Gulfstream, going 2 turns, that 1.16 distance. Pretty much took him wire to wire, ended up going clear by 7 3/4. I know when you saw this horse enter into it, you were very excited as far as a long shot play in here. Do you think this horse is going to be able to validate that 2-turn performance and also stepping up against winners for the first time? This is a very deep field.
Yeah, this is a deep field for this horse, and as you said, the horse looked great at Gulfstream Park the last 2 starts, and I saw the horse got in, and now it's turning around a little bit less than a month for trainer Dale Romans. I think they're just trying to find a spot and see where to enter the horse next time out. And did look good first time stretching out, so we'll see how this horse does at a big price.
Number 8 is Restoring Hope going off for Bob Baffert. Gary and Mary West trained. You're going to get Flavien Prat, who will come east, which is very interesting to see. This horse was able to win a restricted maiden special weight last time out on February 2nd. Got the job done by 3.5. Very impressive. Beating a nice horse in Jimmy Chilla, who's going to run against Bolt and Justify in the Santa Anita Derby. Has also faced the likes of Peace and All Out Blitz. I think this horse is coming in. I know this is probably the B team for Baffert in here. Obviously, his big ones being McKenzie and Justified. But Restoring Hope is maybe one of those horses that's not progressing as fast as those others are. He's still a serious player, and it makes it even more serious that Flavien Prat takes the trip east.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that is really exciting to see. Flavian's coming over, and they have a huge card at Santa Anita on Saturday, and he's coming over to run in the Wood Memorial, which is great. And as you said, the last 2 starts I thought were great. Should have won with Drayden Van Dyke in the first race, and then went to Santa Anita, and I thought ran huge against a horse named Peace, who's a nice horse. And as you said, this horse has done nothing wrong and is in a great competitive barn. You're getting a nice price with Flavien Prat aboard.
Number 9 is Vino Rosso going off for Todd Pletcher. Johnny V is going to be aboard. 9-2 on the morning line. And like Marconi, who I talked about in the Bluegrass, I've liked Vino Rosso the last couple and really hasn't been able to put it together. Did finish 3rd, being a length and a quarter to Flame Away and Catholic Boy. And was closing on both of them back in the Grade 3 Sam F. Davis. Then last time out, took some money again. Was a little bit over 2-1 and ended up finishing an even 4th, beating 6 lengths, 2 Quip and Flame Away. To me, needs to go back to that maiden breaker and that one other than optional claimer, but I think Vino Rosso still has some room for improvement, and if Johnny V is able to rate out a trip with this horse as a player at 9-2.
Yeah, I know you're very high on this horse as well, and I have the horse right in my mix too, and as you said, this last time out, I didn't think the horse ran bad at all. I just think Quip was the best of the best that day against Flame Away, who you do like in the Bluegrass, so again, and this horse ran huge against the horse I really like in Catholic Boy. So we'll see how this horse does for Todd Pletcher. I think the outside stalls can be very beneficial. Has had the inside stall 3 of the 4 starts, and I think doesn't need to run that 90 buyer that we did see at Tampa Bay. I think just runs its normal race for Vino Rosso. Going to be very interesting at 9-2.
Another interesting deep field in the Grade 2 Wood Memorial. Who do you like?
Oh, okay. The Wood Memorial, I like Flavian Prat. I think Restoring Hope is very interesting coming into this spot, and it's been working extremely well. The weather's going to obviously be a question mark. If this horse is going to like the cold weather, it's not California. Let's see if Flavian will get affected by that. And Tyson in the second spot, and Vino Rosso in the third spot. My long shot here is King Zachary coming up, looking very impressive after a win at Gulfstream Park.
We may not have much to say when we go down to Aqueduct because I literally have the same 3 horses in the same exact spots. So we may just be going yes to each other in these spots. But I like Restoring Hope in this spot. I like Bob Baffert sending this horse east. It wouldn't make sense to him to face his big guns against the likes of Restoring Hope. So Restoring Hope's going to try to go over and beat up on the east a little bit. We'll see if he's able to do that. But Flavian Prat 4-1 is very nice price, and the horse has been working out phenomenally since breaking that maiden special weight. And we'll see if he's able to get the job done underneath Enticed. Makes a lot of sense, but again, one of those situations like Good Magic where you just don't want the price. It's not that you don't think the horse can win, you just don't want the price. And I think Enticed is going to be a deserved 1-1 favorite, somewhere around there. We'll see if he's able to do it at going 2 turns and actually string together back-to-back really good performances on Saturday. And then Vino Rosso, who's a horse that I've been high on, like you said, was able to win first 2 races of this horse's career. The last 2 have been so-so. We'll see if he's able to make a progression forward for Todd Pletcher and Johnny V. And then my long shot play is going to be Evaluator. Has been doing really well against State Breds. Is going to face a deep field now in open company, but we'll see if he's able to do that in here. I like the price, and Kendrick Carmouche is going to need some speed to close into, but is another player in here to fill out tries and supers at 20-1. That's the Evaluator. So very interesting races on Saturday at Aqueduct. Again, we'll be going down, so tune in to Capital TV, or OTB TV, and also you can download the app and listen to us as well for all the action on Saturday down at Aqueducts. We're going to take our final break now. When we come back, we'll take a look at the big one out west, the Santa Anita Derby.
Want more rewards? How about this? During the month of February, all Capital Bets account holders earn an additional 2% cash back when wagering on Aqueduct or Gulfstream Park. Capital Bets account holders already earn the best cash rewards in New York State, but now's your chance to get back even more. No points, no gift cards, actual cash from Capital OTB. Now that's more rewards.
Welcome back to the Capital OTB Stakes preview for this upcoming Saturday, April 7th. We are through 4 of the 5. We're going to take a look at the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby now, the third and final prep for this weekend as far as the Kentucky Derby goes. And as far as a betting race goes, probably doesn't offer a lot of value in here, but 2 huge names are going to clash against each other. And also another horse that kind of fell off but was a serious player back in early February. And we'll start out with number 1, Instilled Regard, who's going to be going out for Jerry Hollendorfer. Joel Rosario is going to be aboard. 5-1 on the morning line, a solid third choice in this spot. Did finish 4th, beating 2 1/4 in the Grade 2 Risen Star down at Fairgrounds. But if you go back, was able to win the Grade 3 Lecomte against Principe Guilherme and also Snapper Sinclair. And I thought that was a very solid performance. Got a 92 buyer. Also faced the likes of Salamini and McKenzie when they raced in the Grade 1 Los Al Futurity and finished 3rd, beating 3/4. This horse off that last effort is a little bit concerning, but if this horse is able to go back to that 2 and 3 back races, could, if one of those 2, Bolt or Justify, don't show up on Saturday, could make a statement in here.
Yeah, you're getting a nice price, as you said. I think we'll go back to those 2 and 3 back races where the horse did look phenomenal, and as you said, the horse was right in it against Salamini and McKenzie. So I think 5-1, you're going to get a nice price. Joel Rosario making the trip out west.
Number 2 is Orbit Rain going out for Mick Ruiz. Brice Blanc is aboard 50-1 on the morning line. This horse has yet to break the maiden, is stepping up to Grade 1 quality, but did finish 2nd last time in a maiden special weight, going 1.1 miles on the turf. Now switches back to the dirt. The 2 dirt starts weren't really much to look at. Best performance being 2 back, 5th beaten 9.5. To me, just a lot needs to go right for this horse to hit the board.
Yeah, a lot does need to go right for this horse to hit the board. Does have a little bit of a closing kick, which we did see last time out, passing a couple weaking horses. But, again, it's just asking a lot from this horse. Not a maiden going against arguably the 2 best 3-year-olds in the country this year.
And now we're on to one of the 2 big guns in here. Number 3, Bolt de Oro, going out for Mick Ruiz. Javier Castellano is going to be aboard again. 6-5 second choice, solid second choice in this spot. again, if everybody remembers, faced McKenzie a couple weeks ago. Very controversial ending where they were bumping down the stretch. Bolt d'Oro finished second at the wire, but was actually moved ahead and ended up winning the race on the DQ. Again, it was one of those situations where there was a lot of race riding going on. You probably would expect them to leave the race alone, but they actually flip-flopped it. Mick Ruiz did go on record saying he didn't have Bolt d'Oro cranked at that point. Now he says this horse is getting more fit and better. If you look at the workouts, they've been rock solid. Take a look at that March 5th and 26th workout. First of 93 in both of those spots. Javier Castellano has already been aboard. There's a lot to like in Bolt, but he does have to face Justify.
Yeah, there's a lot to like here, and as you said, the works have been absolutely phenomenal, and winning the last start off a DQ. You know, again, we're not going to get into that again, but, you know, I thought it was fine from McKenzie, and winning the last start for Mick Ruiz and Windstar Farm, Bred Horse, you know I love that. He's winning 23% of his races winning last time out, which is just phenomenal. Very excited to see how this race plays out on Saturday.
And number 4 is Jimmy Chilla going out for Doug O'Neill. Mario Gutierrez is going to be aboard 30-1 on the morning line. Another one that has yet to break the maiden. 4 lifetime starts, but 3 of them have been solid third-place performances, and has faced the likes of some very nice horses. Nero and Curly's Rocket, also faced Restoring Hope, who we both like in the Wood Memorial, and then also Heart Full of Stars, third-place performance last time to that horse, who's also going to be in the Wood Memorial. So while this horse hasn't been able to get it done yet, could be a serious contender to fill out the tries and supers at a nice price, 30-1.
Definitely a nice price here, 30-1. Doug O'Neill, Mario Gutierrez teaming up, phenomenal team there. This horse is going to make the 2 front runners earn it, I think, with the speed this horse has. And as you said, has raced against some solid horses, and you always have a chance when you get Doug O'Neill to run in at a big price underneath. And I agree, I really do agree that this horse might be able to hang on to Complete Exotics.
Number 5 is Pepe Tono going out for Victor Garcia. Victor Espinoza is going to be aboard, 20-1 on the morning line. This horse broke the maiden 3 starts back, impressively going the mile. Then the last 2 have been subpar efforts. Did finish third to Justify, beating 7 3/4 last time, and that one other than optional claimer over the muddy surface going the mile. The stretch out to the mile and eighth actually may help this horse as a stone cold closer. Will appreciate the added ground being out of Bodemeister. Another one that you could consider an exotics play in here as far as tries and supers. Really tough to look past Bolt or Justify in this spot.
Definitely tough to look past both of them. And this horse ran its race last time against Justify. Lost to Lambo, a horse that I liked in that race, winning that Grade 3 event. Knew that horse was just a little bit overmatched there. And the same thing today, just overmatched. It's going to run its best race, but hopefully it can run a solid third like it did last time.
And now on to the big buzz horse, number 6, Justify, going out for Bob Baffert. Mike Smith's going to be aboard, the 4-5 morning line favorite. And with all that Bolt d'Oro's done, he's the second choice in this spot, too. 4-5, Justify, who's 2 for 2 lifetime, broke that maiden ultra impressively, going sub 122 for the 7 furlongs. Then the question mark was this horse going to be able to stretch out to 2 turns? Answered that question last time out, winning impressively by 6.5, getting a 101 buyer. Both the career performances have been 100-plus buyers, and now gets the acid test against Bolt d'Oro. There's always been question marks about how quickly can Justify get there because he has not raced at 2 years old. So he's still lightly raced. He's so mature and he's so big. And the workout against Opportunity, which we talked about on OTB Live, if you haven't had a chance to watch it, watch his workout against Opportunity. He just engulfs him. To me, I've always been a Mendelssohn fan and a Bolt d'Oro fan. I always thought those were the 2 best horses, but I think this horse is the real deal. And potentially, if he's as good as advertised and he's able to answer all the question marks about the distance and he's able to rate like he did last time, he could potentially be one of those situations where we have a Triple Crown winner on our hand.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see this horse. And as you said, he is the real deal. His work speak for itself. His last 2 performances speak for itself. Bob Baffert, Mike Smith, $500,000 purchase out of Scat Daddy. Everything's in the right place for Justify, and I'm really excited to see how he does against Bolt d'Oro. And the stretch out's not going to be an issue either.
Number 7 is Core Beliefs, going out for Peter. And Tyler Bay's going to be aboard, 20-1 on the morning line. This horse was able to break the maiden last time out, beating a couple nice horses. Did finish third in the other 2 career starts, back-to-back third-place performances to Nero and Curly's Rocket. That 90-plus buyer last time out was good. Not, again, one of those situations where you're running into 2 monster horses. This horse is solid, but the pace of the race maybe against him, and the fact that he has to hold off Justify and Bolt de Oro, but nonetheless probably an exotics play again.
Definitely, I think an exotics play here. You're getting a nice price, but definitely there's a lot of speed here in this race, and this horse is going to play Catch Me If You Can. I think this horse gets to the lead. I think Justify lets this horse get to the lead and then picks him off later in the race, but the outside stall, I think, will be beneficial. This horse struggled last time from the outside stall. The first start, but two back, did okay from the outside stall. I think, this horse can possibly fill out trifectas.
All right, pick time in a very formful race. It looks like on paper. Who'd you go with?
Justify. I'm a fan now, and I can't wait to see how this horse does. And then second spot in Steel Regard, third spot with Bolt de Oro. My long shot is Core Beliefs.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'm really excited about this race because Mick Reese has went on record to say, "Let's bring it on. Let's go get it." Like it's Michael Buffer saying, "Let's get it on in a UFC ring." So we'll see what happens here. Bolt de Oro is a champion. He's done nothing wrong. Won that race on the DQ last time, but was a really good off the layoff. Is cranked up even more. Mick Reese says his workouts have been phenomenal. Justified's workouts have been phenomenal. I'm going to give the edge to Justify, though. I've always been a Bolt de Oro fan, and it's not like I don't think he's good. I just think Justify might be that much better. Bolt de Oro underneath, and Steel Regard in the third spot. And then I'll use Jimmy Chula, a horse that I like to kind of round out the supers at 30-1. It looks to be a little bit formful, but there's going to be a lot of excitement in a short horse field in the Grade 1 of Santa Anita Derby. All right, that was our look at all 5 stakes races this upcoming Saturday. It's going to be a phenomenal Saturday. Don't forget, this Saturday we're going to be down at Aqueduct for the Wood Memorial card. OTB Live on the road. Sully and I will be there. First post is going to be 1 o'clock. They adjusted the post time. There's going to be 11 race card. 10th race is going to be the Wood Memorial. Again, tune into Capital OTB TV. Also download the app. You can take advantage of all the race analysis and coverage we'll be giving all day long. Also at the Clubhouse Racebook, we're going to have the Naira Pick 4 promo and match bet. So come down to the Clubhouse. They also have Capital OTB TV on there as well, so you'll be able to hear us, take advantage of both the promotions as well. Also take advantage of betting here at Capital OTB, betting at Capital OTB. The Wood Memorial, the Bluegrass, and the Santa Anita Derby, they're all big 3 prep races are going to happen this Saturday. Take advantage of our Bet 50, Get 50 running through the end of the month. If you don't have a Capital OTB account, take advantage of the $50 free play, essentially. And for more information, you go to CapitalOTB.com. Also take advantage of the Naira Late Pick 5 here at Capital OTB TV. You can watch it, and you can also bet. Last year we were able to do it through the branches and also through the phone bet, but you can also do it through the internet now as well. So go to CapitalOTB.com, click on the Naira Late Pick 5 button. It'll take you to FastBet Mobile, put your account in, put your PIN in, and you'll be able to bet the Naira Late Pick 5. So take advantage of that. It'll run every Naira race day all the way through the end of the Saratoga meet on Labor Day. And also, we're going to have Futures Pool this week. We'll have the Futures Pool starting Friday at noon. It'll close Sunday at 6. So once you get done watching all those 3 big prep races, take advantage of the future wagering, which will be available as well. There's a lot going on this weekend. Very excited. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on Saturday when we're down at the Wood.